Welcome back to Alternate Ending, where we are still discovering good movies, one bad movie at a time. I am your host for this week, the first main feed episode of September. I was like, check the calendar. I am Brennan Klein, and with me are two familiar voices. You have Andrew Milne in the building today. Hello, Andrew. How are you doing?
Hello, everybody. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good night, whatever it was that Truman said back in the day to encompass all time zones at once.
And that is important because you are across the pond and also across the entire continent from me and our other guests who are in the same state. Our other guest, indeed, being Cameron Shaw. Welcome back, Cameron. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. Happy Labor Day in the United States.
Oh, yes. Yeah, we're recording on Labor Day because we all had the day off.
Yeah,
Indeed.
It worked out.
Happy Labor Day. May you
unions.
be well recompensed.
Yes.
Yeah. Andrew, are you aware of Labor Day, of what it is? Because I barely am.
I know it vaguely. Like it's a celebration of the unions that sort of got the 40-hour work week sorted out, right? Something like that.
Yeah, and the irony of Labor Day is that now, of course, there are all these sales, and people who work in retail and everything do not get Labor Day quite often. So it's sort of a tricky holiday for some people.
I was chatting with our mutual acquaintance Dan Stalcup a few months ago, and he was asking me if Thanksgiving was a thing over here, and I said no, but like on reflection, Black Friday is. Which is
interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
but it's just unattached to anything.
There's just a random Friday in November.
Pretty much, yeah.
Huh. That's fascinating. Okay.
I mean, I guess it's still a pretty good time to start Christmas. Like, at least you can stave it off a little longer so it's not creeping into Halloween.
Yeah.
But we are not here to talk about holidays. We are here to talk about the New York Times list of the greatest films of the 21st century. The first quarter. Well, I will talk about my quibbles with why we're doing this in the first place.
Yeah.
But first, we have the round table. We're each going to bring a movie to discuss that we have seen recently. Let's start with you, Andrew. What do you want to talk about today?
Okay, so I'm bringing a movie. I've seen a few things over the last couple of weeks that I thought were worthy of discussion, but I wanted to bring up a little bit of a hidden gem that I think some people listening in the AE community could stand to benefit from knowing about it, from raising its profile a little bit, because it is a little bit obscure. This is the 1972 Polish film The Devil, directed by Andrzej Żuławski. If that's a name you recognize, it's probably as the director of Possession from 1981 with Sam Neill. I'm curious, have either of you guys seen Possession?
No,
I haven't.
I'm aware of its existence. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, cool. That's fine, because it is a film whose reputation kind of precedes it as being one of these, like, sort of Euro clock horror art, weird objects that nobody's ever known quite what to do with. It was famously a film that won awards at Cannes and also got banned as a video nasty in the UK in the 1980s. So that sort of gives you like an idea of the kind of territory that Żuławski straddles. So this is one of his early films. It's the second film that he ever made. It concerns the story of a man against the backdrop of the 1793 dissolution of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, back when it was being broken up between Russia and Prussia.
Do we need another movie about that?
I know,
right? It's such a familiar political context to everyone listening. But so the gist is, so Żuławski, it should be stated, made this film, and he put it out into the world in 1972, and the Soviet censors took one look at it and said, "Lol, no, absolutely fucking not." So it's been kind of, it has kind of languished in obscurity for the last 40 years, more or less. It's only just recently that it's been unbanned for a while, but it's not received a good home video release until just basically this year, Eureka put out a really nice Blu-ray release, bundled together with his first film, The Third Part of the Night, which gives a lot of sort of context and, talking head documentaries and making of features to sort of put everything he was doing into perspective. So it's a really good sort of time to rediscover this movie. The idea is we've got our protagonist, Jakub, who is, long story short, he's an insurrectionist. He tried to organize an assassination plot against the side that ultimately won the war. And he's waiting on being put to death when he's visited by a mysterious, nameless figure wearing a black cloak, who gives him a writ of pardon and sort of escorts him back to the childhood estate where he grew up in rural Poland. And nothing is where he left it. His father is dead. His home has been taken up by his bastard half-brother. It turns out his mum's a prostitute. His childhood sweetheart is being forcibly married off to one of his co-conspirators. It's a mess. And the whole film is basically just this kind of protracted freak out. It's a really hard thing to classify. If you wanted to call it a surreal horror, I wouldn't argue with that, but like a lot of Żuławski's movies, it's kind of singular. It stands by itself. If you think of something like a Lucio Fulci movie, like The Beyond, where it's just this sort of... There is kind of an order of events, but it mostly just consists of the cast getting smaller in violent ways from scene to scene. You're kind of getting into the right headspace, this kind of surreal, just pile up of violence and existential dissolution, and just nobody knowing what the hell is going on until it just crashes into this nihilistic conclusion. It's a lot. It's a feel-bad movie.
It sounds like a war of attrition on this main character.
Pretty much, yeah. The implication is that this the title is kind of leading, because this nameless black-robed figure who he's got looking out for his interests is implied to be, Lucifer who fell from heaven. But it's never explicitly supernatural. There's very limited plot. There's very limited props. There's very limited special effects. Most of the effect of the film comes through from the direction, where the acting is just constantly in this absolutely hyperbolic, hysterical, shrieking conniptions of, it's almost epileptic in its intensity. The camera is constantly swirling through these bleak Polish landscapes.
Oh wow! Okay.
The autumn, as it goes on, turns into winter. It's a really, really intense experience, which kind of goes hand in hand with what Żuławski does. This is one of the most concentrated versions of that. I really dug it. I'm kind of down for these kind of European arty, weird, vulgar things. Just on the face of it, but I kind of felt like it had the force of a really adult fairy tale in a way, where it just feels like it captures this idea of just becoming completely unmoored, your identity just falling apart. That's sort of mirrored by the idea of Poland falling apart. That's mirrored by these sort of completely desolate, liminal, depersonalized landscapes. It's a really heady, experiential thing that it's difficult to describe what it's getting at if you're not watching it.
Okay. Right. It sounds like a movie, honestly, that I would have a hard time watching, not in a theater, but in a theater where you're kind of surrounded by that. It's easier to focus on than on a small screen. So, do you know what I mean?
I think that's right. I think a theater would be the ideal version to see this.
Interesting.
All right. I think I will with dipping my toes in the water of that filmmaker, I will definitely start with Possession and work my way out.
Same.
I'm curious. I'm curious about this one.
That is the correct response. I'm honestly curious, because I don't know which way you would come down on Possession, Brennan. Like,
Yeah. I don't know. I am too. It's one of the more glaring blind spots in my horror or horror adjacent watching at this point. So I've got to get to it, but it hasn't insisted upon itself just yet. I've been busy.
Like, I love Possession. Like, Possession's genuinely one of my favorite films. I would say start with that, and then probably The Devil next, if it grabs you. That would be the sort of like the dots sequence
like
I
a
would
plan.
go in. Yeah.
Excellent. And Cameron, I'm sure you have a different Polish horror movie of a similar vintage, right?
Yeah, no, I don't. Sorry.
That's okay. What do you have?
As interesting as that sounds, no, I am intrigued by your description. I recently saw the new documentary, It's Never Over, Jeff Buckley, which obviously is about Jeff Buckley. It's by Amy Berg, who did Deliver Us from Evil, is probably her most famous. It's actually the only other of her documentaries that I've seen, which was, I think, 2006, and is really heavy. This is not nearly as depressing. However, it is, Jeff Buckley passed away when he was very young. I think he was 29. And it goes into his life and his genius as an artist. It's a pretty typical documentary. There is a lot of stuff that I didn't know personally, because I came to appreciate him after he was already dead. I was like 15 or something when I discovered him, and he passed away when I was 12 or 13. So it goes through his childhood. His mother's in it. His two primary girlfriends of his life are in it. There's quite a bit of sad stuff, but then there's also, the fun part of his life where he's like becoming well known in New York City in the 90s, in the East Village. And that stuff is, all the footage that they have of him is really amazing. I would really recommend it if you are a fan of his. I have no idea how people would react if you're not a fan, but it did really make me want to go home and listen to Grace, which is his only studio album. Nice. Which I did. So that was exciting. He was a genius, and it had a very sad end to his life. It was not drugs, it was not alcohol, anything like that. It was just an accident. And I think because so many young musicians are, when they die early, it's an overdose or something horrible like that. That's not what happened to him. And so I think it's important that people know that. Makes it very clear in this. And I really dug it. I don't know if other people will, but like I said, I think if you grew up in the 90s at all, you might appreciate it. So, yeah. Very different vibe from Polish horror.
I regret to say my main exposure to Jeff Buckley is his cover of Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah.
Yes,
which I think imagine is a lot of people.
Yeah, I think that's the case for most people, which is amazing. I mean, it's a good entree into his work. He's a very like soulful, passionate musician.
Oh, for sure. It's a great cover. So
yeah,
like I often think documentaries can be kind of a good way into an artist's career if you're not necessarily familiar with them. It can be a good primer to sort of what to expect. So,
yeah, I agree. Amy Berg also did a documentary about Janis Joplin that I haven't seen, and so it made me interested to see that too. Yeah, so recommend it.
Yeah, and that's a sign of a good documentary that's like giving you a lot, but also makes you want to like dig into the artist or the person further and experience their work and kind of feel energized about that. So I think that's a good sign. And I'm similar to Andrew. I'm not that familiar with Jeff Buckley, but it sounds interesting. I was scrolling through his stuff, and because I've been seeing that doc floating around a little bit. It sounds really neat.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, you youngsters, maybe missed the boat on him, but that's neither here nor there.
I mean, I do know Last Goodbye because they did it on Smash. So
Great song. Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
I-
Cool.
I, um,
Well, yeah, I suggest everybody go see it if you're at all intrigued by his life. It's good.
Could you say the title again? Sorry, Cameron.
It's called It's Never Over, Jeff Buckley.
It's Never Over. Okay, neat.
Yeah.
And one final roundtable pick is mine. So honestly, this is going to be short because I came out of the movie and I was like, I experienced that movie. It was nice. I have almost nothing to say about it. But then I was looking at what I have seen that's worth talking about in the last week, and this is it. So I saw the new Darren Aronofsky movie, Caught Stealing. It's an adaptation of the Charlie Houston novel of the same name. Austin Butler plays a kind of washed up high school baseball phenom who is just kind of kicking around New York, drinking a lot. And his neighbor is very punk Matt Smith. Matt Smith has to leave suddenly. He leaves Austin Butler in charge of his cat and inadvertently gets him mixed up in all of these distinct criminal groups that are trying to find Matt Smith for reasons that will eventually become clear. But Austin Butler kind of finds himself in the middle of this whirlwind of violence and mayhem and crime and needs to figure out, first of all, what's happening and also how to get out of it. I'm not really liked it, but I did like it. I thought it was cute, which is like that's not in a demeaning way. Like especially by the end, I was like, oh, that was cute. Like I had a nice time. But it's Darren Aronofsky. He really, really wants to push your face into how overwhelmed the character is by everything that's going on, and there is a more or less realistic, like physical toll to the violence of like, ooh, that seems like it hurt. But I think it was like a pretty solid, like right down the middle kind of crime thriller of the type that we don't get a lot of. And part of it's based on a book from 2005, which was a slightly better time for that kind of thing. But also because of that, I think some of its weaknesses come from that area, including the Zoe Kravitz plays a character who is dating Austin Butler, and she's a bit flat femme fatale 2000s crime movie character. But all in all, really great cast. Carol Kane is in it.
Oh, wow.
For a little bit.
Okay.
And Liev Schreiber and Vincent D'Onofrio and Griffin Dunn. Like, it's just like all down the board. Like everyone you're looking at is like, oh, I'm familiar with them. Like, and it's just kind of fun to watch these people be solid in a movie like this. And that's about all I have to say about it.
I have never heard an Aronofsky film described as cute, which is honestly intriguing.
Where do you come down on Aronofsky generally, Brennan?
That's a great question. I have probably not seen the ones that are like probably the cornerstones of his filmography. Or, I mean, and specifically, I've not seen Requiem for a Dream. But I've seen Black Swan. I really, really like Black Swan. He did The Wrestler, right?
He did, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought that movie was fine. I don't tend to dislike Aronofsky. I've not seen Mother or Noah, which might tip me in one direction or the other, but I tend to find him tolerable to great. And this one is like somewhere in the middle of those two things.
So that's interesting. I have not seen Requiem for a Dream either, but I have seen Noah. I am pro Noah. Noah
Oh,
is...
interesting. Okay.
So here's the thing about Noah. It's not the film it was advertised as. It's something quite different entirely.
Okay.
Like,
Okay, that's encouraging because it was advertised as a giant ball of crap.
it was made to look like it was going to be sort of biblical Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And most of it actually consists of like Russell Crowe sitting in the corner of a damp boat contemplating infanticide. So it's a very different animal than it was marketed as.
Yeah, that's interesting. I have almost zero tolerance for Russell Crowe, so maybe that's why I didn't see it when it came out. Maybe. But yeah. You guys should both see Requiem for a Dream. I realize it's a tough sell because it's so unpleasant, but it is I feel like you can't understand Aronofsky unless you have seen that.
I hear that.
Yeah.
It's a movie I was poisoned against because I was... Well, I mean, this came out like more like a decade or so before I graduated high school, but like when I was in college, it was like still like the movie with the film bros. Like everyone had a poster of it, and I was just like, ew, I don't want to deal with this.
Yeah, I get that.
But I think I've kind of shed those feelings, so I think I can approach it. I do have no intention of ever watching The Whale, but Requiem for a Dream, yes.
I also have never seen The Whale and do not want to see The Whale, but
me neither particularly. I did like Pi when I was
Pi is great.
Pi is pretty good, but that's very like his black and white indie debut.
Gotta have one.
I always find those interesting.
They are interesting. I really like Pi. And yeah, I saw Requiem for a Dream on a date. I don't know. I feel like I've told that story before on this podcast.
I think maybe, was that not on the romance episode?
It might have been, yeah. Like it was a choice, and I think neither of us. We were like 16. Neither of us knew what we were getting into, and then
oh my god!
Shockingly, I did not continue dating him. So
I mean, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. This is actually a great transition into our main topic.
Yes, it is.
Because my first date with a man that I dated for 7 years was the movie Amour by,
oh my God.
by Mikhail Haneke, which is on the New York Times Top 100 Films of the 21st Century list. I don't recommend going to see that with a date if you're trying to make out in the theater.
No.
Don't be misled by the title. For the record, I didn't pick it. If I had actually looked into it, I would have been like, oh no, this is a bad idea. But he was like, I'll take you to this movie. And I was like, okay. But anyway, yes, the New York Times, a little bit ago at this point, probably more than a month ago, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Thereabouts.
July.
They published this list of the 100 greatest movies between 2000 and 2024. The first 25 years of the 21st century. Sure, why not? Maybe don't call it the best movies of the 21st century.
Exactly. Yes.
I'd love a little parenthetical so far, or like Q1, something in there.
Q1 I like.
Yeah,
it is.
I like Q1 with the implication that there are going to be people who live 100 years to make those sort of judgments by 2100.
I hope Pedro Almodovar is still kicking in the year 3000. Or no.
As do we all.
I mean, that's true, but I did not do the math right.
No, he did not.
No, look, the fact that I am here speaking to you is a testament to sheer willpower, because it is 95 degrees in my apartment, basically, and my brain is melted. But anyway, sorry. So they pulled a bunch of people. They pulled a bunch of filmmakers, a bunch of people like that. Almodovar is one of the people. I think Greta Gerwig and probably Bong Joon-ho. And
it's a really bizarre swath of people. Like I saw a lot of quotes from Pamela Anderson.
Oh.
Yeah,
Pamela Anderson's having kind of a renaissance at the moment, is the thing. Like between The Last Showgirl and this whole publicity stunt she was running, where for about 3 weeks we thought she was getting together with Liam Neeson.
I missed that. Interesting.
No, it turned out it was just Puff for the Naked Gun, but apparently they do have chemistry, which is nice.
Good for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that speaks to a little bit. One of the things about this list is that it is a little contemporary leaning in a way that I do not think will stand the test of time.
Agreed.
There are some bits basically any movie on the list from 2024 I was a little suspicious of. Are we all going to be thinking about, say, After Sun in 20 years?
Yes. After Sun is actually one of the movies on the list that I haven't seen.
I am pro After Sun. I'm going to say, I think After Sun, there are probably movies from 2020. Sure, that was 2023, wasn't it?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, you're right.
I wasn't necessarily. Meaning
sure,
to
sure,
2024, but that period.
But no, I get that. But yeah, I mean, I had similar reservations about several of the picks on this list. I was just going through it, and there are very few films on this list that I've seen that I actively dislike, but there are ones that I would point to and say, you know, I don't know, like top cohort of the 21st century so far, really.
Yeah.
Like Spotlight, for instance. I guess Best Picture winner, but I like
Yeah,
Spotlight
Best
just fine.
Picture. Exactly. It's a fine movie. I think when it won Best Picture, and I am hard pressed now to remember what it was up against, but I felt very much like, oh, this is the safe pick for Best Picture. So there are 10 Best Picture winners on this list, and I would question definitely a few of them.
Yeah.
Luckily, there's no Crash. It's okay. There's no Crash on here, so I
There's
would
no
have.
Crash. There's no Green Book. There's no.
Yes.
No King's Speech.
Yeah.
No. What was the one about the deaf people?
Coda.
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 Yeah.
Yeah. I've not seen
The
Coda,
artist
and I've
is also missing.
Yes, thank God the artist is missing, because I would have thrown my computer against the wall, I think, if the artist had been on here. Yeah. So I guess I agree with you, Brennan. It's very it's not like there's a ton from 2023. The one that I felt, and I actually don't know if there are any from 2024, but the one that I felt that way about was Past Lives, which I thought was great, but not so great that anyone will care in 30 years about this movie.
So
And yeah.
yeah. One of the prompts you gave us ahead of this episode, Brennan, was like, what are the movies on this list that we've seen that we least think deserve to be there? And Past Lives is a good, like, that's my runner-up. That's
Okay.
the one that I like. Of the, as I say, like, I don't hate Past Lives by any means. I think
Right.
it's a perfectly fine anodyne sort of object. The one film like on this list, and I may be rustling feathers here, I don't know. There's only one film of the 65 that I've seen out of this selection that I don't like, and that's Moneyball.
Oh, interesting.
Oh.
Okay.
That one I've not seen. Why don't you like it?
I have to confess, like, this might be like sort of a fait accompli for the film, because it's about baseball management. Like, I'm not out to see like sports movies generally. Of the sports movies that I am interested in, baseball tends to rank towards the lower end. And like, take a baseball movie, make it about baseball management. I don't know, man. We say that there are films that they say there are no bad premises, right? There are no bad, bases for a story. I feel like Moneyball stress tests that premise.
Interesting. Okay. I love Moneyball. But I'm also a baseball
I'm sorry.
fan. So
I know. I
yeah,
think you've mentioned that. Yeah.
it's okay to not like it. I kind of like, I understand getting into the nitty-gritty of a sport that you don't particularly care about. That would be a road too far for me too. If somebody was like, here's a movie about bowling, I would be hard pressed to want to go see that movie.
Yeah. And it was part of that weird period where we were adapting every Michael Lewis book for no reason.
Yeah.
Because he wrote The Blind Side, right?
Yes.
And also then we got The Big Short, I believe was his. I don't know what about that one nonfiction author that really kind of stuck to the ribs of Hollywood for so long.
Well, I feel like Moneyball was maybe the first. No, The Blind Side was before
I think
Moneyball.
The Blind Side came first.
Feel like The Blind Side was so successful that they were like, hey, what else you got? And then it took a while for them to get off of that train.
And
It was
Blind Side
also
not
Aaron
on this
Sorkin,
list.
wasn't it?
Yeah, and Aaron Sorkin was involved.
Wrote it. Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, well, should I hop onto my worst of this list of the ones that I've seen?
Please.
Go for it. I'll go after.
Okay, and I will say, just kind of hopping off of what Andrew says, I don't really think there's any pick on this list that is bad necessarily.
Yes, I agree.
But so it's a pretty, like, a lot of them are middle of the road in a way where it's like we could have had a more interesting list, but none of them are like truly objectionable presences. But I will say I really didn't like The Act of Killing, the Joshua Oppenheimer documentary.
Well, interesting.
I think it is a very good documentary on paper. For those who haven't seen it, it is basically asking the people responsible for a genocide to make a movie about that period of their lives. And it's kind of meant to be like, how does one fantabulize the past when one has committed heinous crimes? And it sounds fascinating, and it's not very well constructed. I don't think I did not feel like it offered me a glimpse into anything. There were moments where it was really raw about people contending with their pasts, but I thought the premise was a big mistake. I thought that it wasn't presented very well. I thought it wasn't made very clear in the storytelling of the documentary. You're just seeing these like random bits of the movie, and you're never seeing like a chunk from what I recall, I saw this back in like 2013, but you're never seeing a chunk of what they have made that's more than like a minute and a half long. And it just all felt really questionable and shaky to me, and did not sell me on Oppenheimer as a filmmaker. I did not watch his follow-up, which was he'd had one about
The Look
like
of Silence
or something. Yeah, The Look of Silence. Yeah.
I haven't seen that either. I haven't seen The Act of Killing. But Brennan, if you are interested in the premise of people kind of reckoning with horrible deeds from the past, that movie, the Amy Berg Deliver Us from Evil, is a good version of that.
Okay. Interested is a strong word. I mean, interested is maybe the right word rather than like, oh, I would love this.
Right.
But yeah, I think I'd be curious to check that out and see someone doing it right. Because I think this is the movie that I've seen on the list that I felt was most an active failure, even though a lot of people at the time really, really liked it. And it's clearly stuck with them.
Yeah.
Clearly, yeah. Like that's something that jumps out at me, is like what movies have stuck and which ones have sort of faded away since like 2010, 2005. Because I've not seen The Act of Killing either. That's actually one that has been on my list. I know that Tim was a major booster of that film when it came out. And I do find
here.
Yes, but he's not here, so we can say whatever we want.
Yep. True.
But yeah, like he did kind of sell me on it. I just like, as with Requiem for a Dream, it's one of those ones where I was sort of waiting to get myself in the right headspace of an evening. So I do find the premise of it interesting, but that's curious. That's the first time I've heard someone say who's seen it that it sort of fails in its ambitions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. In 2013, I was like a freshman in college. Maybe I was just an idiot watching this movie, but I don't think that I was. I feel like if I watched it now, I would have much the same experience.
Fair.
But Cameron, how about you? Of what you've seen, what is like hitting you the lowest?
Yeah, so I have seen the majority of this list, which surprised me, honestly, because I think I've seen 85 of them.
Whoa.
I know. I was shocked. Usually lists like this, I go through and I'm like, well, I've never even heard of that one, and I haven't seen this, because mostly they're more foreign movies, and this is a very American-heavy list.
That's a good point.
I mean, it absolutely has foreign films on here, but the one, and this is also controversial, the one that I have seen and I don't think is a good movie and I don't think deserves to be on here is Gladiator. And I already said I don't like Russell Crowe. I do like Ridley Scott. I hate that movie. I don't know why, it just did not vibe with me. It was also like right around the time of A Beautiful Mind. I hated him in that. I hate him. So like, I think if it had been a different actor, I honestly might have liked that movie.
A different actor like Paul Mescal?
No.
Sweet Jesus, no.
He was maybe the worst part of that sequel. I did see the sequel. Yeah, I can't justify it any more than that I just have this like visceral like more recent Russell Crowe thing. He was fine in like, LA Confidential. The other one that I actually haven't seen but I wish was not on here is Melancholia, because I think Lars von Trier is a misogynist, and yeah. But I haven't seen that because I feel that way about him. So.
I have seen Melancholia, and I think it is a very interesting project that leaves a lot to grapple with. I'm not sure how much it contributes to humanity But
It's a good baseline way to judge things.
no, like it certainly left an impression on me when I saw it in 2011.
Yeah. I mean, I have seen things that Lars von Trier has done that I like. Oh gosh, I'm totally blanking on his first movie with his first Dogma movie, The Idiots. I liked that. I liked The Five Obstructions, which is like a weird documentary about him giving film assignments to one of his old professors or something. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but it ends up in these 5 little shorts, which is interesting. But other than that, I don't particularly love him. So, but this, yeah, I mean, those are some quibbling things. Most things on this list, and I think we should probably read the top 10 at least for people who haven't looked at it.
Yeah.
Most things on this list, I understand why they are there. Whether where they're ranked is what I think should have happened is a different discussion. Yeah.
And it is worth... I guess it is worth pointing out, like, it is like a consensus pick. This is like a bunch of people from a bunch of different backgrounds and a bunch of different disciplines coming together to make their top 100. Of course, it's going to sort of average out, like, towards the sort of, like, for want of a better term, the normie picks. Because, like, there aren't any, like, sort of contentious cult movies on here, really. Some of them are, you know, a bit more art house than you might get from the general populace. But there aren't really... There isn't really anything here that was commercially or critically unsuccessful.
True.
Did you want to read off the top 10, Cameron?
Sure. Okay. So I guess I'll start with 10. At number 10, I feel anticipation. I feel like David Letterman. Number 10, we have The Social Network, David Fincher.
Sure.
Number 9, we have Spirited Away by Hayao Miyazaki. Number 8 is Get Out by Jordan Peele. Number 7 is Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind by Michel Gondry. We can come back to that one. Maybe I was surprised that it was that high. Number 6, we have No Country for Old Men, the Coen brothers. Number 5, we have Moonlight by Barry Jenkins. Number 4 is In the Mood for Love by Wong Kar-wai. Number 3 is There Will Be Blood by Paul Thomas Anderson. Number 2 is Mulholland Drive by David Lynch. And number 1 is Parasite by Bong Joon-ho. What did you guys, out of curiosity, think about that top 10, and particularly Parasite being number 1?
So, I have no objection to Parasite. Like, it was like my 3rd favorite movie of 2019. Mulholland Drive should be number 1. In my opinion, like nothing against Bong Joon-ho. I think he's a great director, not like Mickey 17 notwithstanding. But Mulholland Drive, like, just like stack them next to each other, and it's just like there's no contest, man. Like it's such a more like ineluctable thing. It's that is seriously like a sort of once in a generation film. It's certainly my favorite film on this list. And yes, like, to play my cards on the table, my favorite film of the 21st century.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, okay. I have not seen Mulholland Drive, so I can't weigh in on the number 2 aspect of it. I think Parasite's a totally fine number 1. It was certainly, it might even have been my number 1 of 2019. I don't quite remember where I was that year, but it was definitely in my top 5.
Sure.
It's not a movie that I think about as like one of the greats. I had a good time. It was a very solid movie, but it's not like a ground shaking movie to me.
Yeah. I think that this might be one of the ones that over time slips down this list. Like, I would not be surprised by that, because I think it made a big splash, and it winning Best Picture made a huge splash. But so then everybody saw it, and everyone was like, well, I'm supposed to like this movie. I really liked Parasite, but I don't think it's the best of the 21st century either. I would go with Mulholland Drive or No Country for Old Men or There Will Be Blood of this top 10 should be number 1. Cool. But, yeah.
Now, I haven't seen There Will Be Blood. Sorry, Brennan. I haven't seen There Will Be Blood since it was new. No Country for Old Men certainly made more of an impression on me when I
Mm-hmm.
was younger. Like of the sort of two neo-Western sort of bleak auteur-driven films of
Yeah.
2008. What was it?
2007.
2007. Yes, sorry. Um, yeah, like No Country for Old Men was definitely the one that lingered with me more.
Yeah.
I actually
Um,
did. Sorry,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Sorry. No, I interrupted you. My apologies.
I actually did just see In the Mood for Love for the first time just this past month, and this
Oh,
deserves to be
okay.
in here. I think that's very
Yes.
much like top 10 material. It's a great movie.
Yes. I agree with that. No Country for Old Men, first of all, 2007 was a hell of a year for movies.
Yeah.
I, there are so many movies from that year that I could watch any day of the week, any time of day. Would be great. No Country for Old Men is one that I used to use when I was teaching films, like high school summer film camp at
Mhm.
Northwestern, which the premise of which was is like the first semester of college film school shoved into 6 weeks in the summer.
Oh
And
wow.
I would use it to teach visual storytelling without any dialogue. There's a sequence in it with where Javier Bardem's character, whose last name I can't remember, it's Chigurh, I think. Anton Chigurh is how you
Anton
pronounce it.
Chigurh, yeah.
Chigurh, yeah, thank you. He's coming after Josh Brolin, and Josh Brolin's in his hotel, and you see like the under the door in the hotel, the light go out in the hallway so that you can't see where his feet are, and it's a chase scene, and it's like building suspense, and there's zero dialogue, and it's I mean, I would put it higher on this list for that scene alone. But it's
Yeah.
also Roger Deakins is a freaking genius, the cinematographer, and this is, I think, maybe the height of his prowess is
Wow.
2007, because also that year was the assassination of Jesse James, and I would put that on my top 100 for sure. But that's me. So
Fantastic.
Yeah, and yeah, the top 10, it's a little scrambled. I think for me, I haven't seen No Country for Old Men. I haven't seen In the Mood for Love. That is a big one. We're going to talk in a little bit about stuff that we really feel like we need to see from this list, and that's definitely one of them.
yeah,
But of what I've seen, I think I'd probably of what I've seen that is currently in the top 10, what I'd probably put up at the top is Spirited Away. I love the feel of that movie, and it's so, I mean, it's just everything about it from top to bottom is like so well crafted. And the one I'm maybe most dubious about is Get Out,
yeah,
which I think is a great yarn, but maybe not a great movie. In terms of the filmmaking, I think Jordan Peele had better filmmaking in him, and he brought it out in Us. But Get Out is just like a really solid horror movie, but not a top 10 of even 1/4 of the century material.
Yeah. I concur. I think I put Get Out honestly in the same category as Parasite to a lesser extent, where like really solid craftsmanship, really good technique, really like astutely stated themes, not necessarily like transcendent filmmaking, if that makes sense. And
yeah.
we're talking about degrees here. We're talking about like increments, but yeah, I sort of felt the same way when I saw it in theaters back in 2017, and like I fully like concede the point. Like obviously, I am neither black nor American, so obviously that resonated with a cohort of people that I don't belong to, and that's important in its own right. But also, like my reaction is what it is. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Like take from that what you will.
I feel like Get Out has inspired a lot of copycat filmmakers, and I wonder
Mm,
if that is part of the appeal, like of the people maybe who are voting on this. It had a big impact on the current generation of up and coming filmmakers. I don't know how many of them were voting, but do you know what I mean? Like, I feel
Mhm.
like
yeah.
there's always a few movies coming out every summer that are trying to do what Get Out was doing and like have commentary on social situations and racial interactions, and that is a hard thing to do, and Jordan Peele does it very well. But I do think it may not have the same impact 30 years from now.
Yeah, and we will find out.
Yes,
we'll hope. One can only hope.
Yeah.
Are there any other comments about the top 10 that you have, Cameron, or should we move on?
No, I think I personally would put Zodiac over Social Network for David Fincher, but that's just me. And Zodiac's at number 19. It's not hurting, so, yeah.
I have not seen Moonlight, so that's something I need to correct.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, that's what I wanted to transition to anyway, which is stuff you have not seen that you feel like you most urgently need to do.
Okay.
Well, I guess I'll start.
Sure.
So I said In the Mood for Love already. I have not seen Y tu mamá también, and that is something that I know is a glaring oversight for me. I really like Cuarón. There's a bunch of his movies here. He is very represented in this top 100. There's 2 of his titles in the top 20.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very happy about that. But yeah, I have not seen that one, and I am 99% certain I'm going to love it. It just hasn't happened yet.
Interesting. Okay.
Neither have I. So, likewise.
Oh, wow.
I've got a world of respect for Cuarón. I think he deserves the sort of stature that he gets in this list.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was his first film that I saw. So, yeah.
It certainly is like kind of international breakout.
Yes, and I was, what year was that? I was a teenager, and it's very sexy, and it had a big impact on me. I'll leave it at that. Let's see. I haven't seen. There's quite a few in here that I haven't seen. Well, maybe not quite a few. I guess there are 15 if I haven't seen 85. The ones that I'm kind of embarrassed about. I have not seen A Prophet. I have not seen A Separation. I heard great things about both of those.
You don't like singular nouns very much.
Yeah.
Both
One
good.
single thing.
It's been a while since I've seen The Prophet. I watched that when it was out in 2008. I remember liking it a lot at the time. I don't remember people talking about it since. So it's good to realize that it has had sort of an afterlife that I didn't necessarily realize it had.
Yeah. And then the other 2 are just because I'm trying to see more films made by female filmmakers. Toni Erdmann and The Gleaners and I. So Marin Ade, is that how you pronounce it?
Let me double check.
Yeah, not sure about that. And then she made Toni Erdmann, and then Anya Zvarda, who's, a giant in French filmmaking, did The Gleaners and I, and it seems right up my alley, and I haven't seen it. So I actually, this morning, looked to see if I could watch it before this recording, and it's not easily streamable anywhere except Criterion, and my membership there has lapsed. So gotta figure that out. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate the attempt at doing homework.
Yeah.
Even thinking that it is truly the thought that counts. But yeah, I believe the director of Toni Erdmann would probably be Marin Ade.
Ada, okay.
But I took 1 year of German, and it was quite a long time ago. So don't take that with a grain of salt.
Okay.
But is there anything on? Wait, Andrew, have we talked about you other than what are the titles that you want to see that you haven't seen yet?
So, I want to see all 35 that I haven't seen. Obviously,
Yeah, same.
There are no movies I haven't seen. There are only movies I haven't seen yet. But priorities for me, I do really need to see Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Yeah.
I know that was that got such a huge name around the sort of AE community back when that came out a few years ago. And yeah, I'm up for sort of a good sort of tortured love story, tragic love story. I'm way down with the other ones on this list, Call Me by Your Name and In the Mood for Love. So yeah, that seems up my street. I also really need to see Memories of Murder.
Yeah, I haven't seen that either.
I say, I love Bong Joon-ho based on what I've seen of his, and that's been a glaring omission for some time. So I definitely need to see both of those.
I thought it was interesting that Bong Joon-ho has number 1 and number 99
He's almost exactly bookending it.
Yeah.
But Andrew, if you're excited about all of them, is there one that's like the lowest priority for you?
Kind of. I have no particular. I have seen half of Anchorman: The Legend of Ron Burgundy, and
Which half?
The first half.
Okay.
It was in high school. Like they put it on on the last day of term in class when they weren't expecting any of us to do any work. It did not inspire me to watch the rest of it, and I guess my beef with it, being on this list, is of all the comedies that are on this list, you've got Anchorman, but you don't have Hot Fuzz.
I was gonna say Hot Fuzz for an omission as well.
Yeah, you don't have
Wright
Walk Hard.
entirely omitted from this list.
No Edgar Wright. Yeah, it's kind of shameful, actually.
Yeah, no Shaun of the Dead, no Baby Driver, no Black Dynamite, no Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox Story. I guess comedy is very subjective, obviously, but I find it hard to picture a world where Anchorman is one of the 100 funniest movies of the 21st century.
Yeah, the comedies on this list are very peculiar. Because
Very
you've got
odd,
Superbad down at the very, very bottom at 100, which is also... That was a surprise to me.
Yeah.
Same.
Me too. So that was actually part of the cramming I did for this episode. I watched Superbad this last week, not expecting to like it, and I kind of did.
Yeah.
Which
It's
caught me
fun.
out. Yeah.
It's a fun movie. Yeah.
It is. But again, it's just not one of the 100 best movies of the 21st century.
No.
But I do appreciate a pick that is that off the wall for this kind of group of people.
Yes.
But I do agree the comedy kind of trends towards straight men telling stories, which is not really my instinct for comedy.
Yeah. And then we have Bridesmaids as well.
Yeah,
and
Bridesmaids is pretty. It's a solid pick. I mean,
is.
It's a right down the middle comedy.
Yeah.
Pick.
And then the one that really actually surprised me that I had forgotten existed is Little Miss Sunshine, which is a movie that I really liked.
Yeah.
I guess it's not just a comedy, but I mean, it's at number 63, and I feel like that's kind of speaks to this list in general of it's a conglomeration of what everybody likes. And Little Miss Sunshine, I think if you were asking just film critics, might not be on here, or just casual moviegoers, it might not be on here.
Yeah, well, honestly, I didn't even really look at the readers list of New York Times.
Yeah,
I did submit a top 10 to it because I wanted to influence it in a positive way.
Okay.
But I was like, I don't want to see all 8 Harry Potter movies in a top 100
I know,
list. You know?
exactly. Yeah.
It's actually surprisingly close to the. I was surprised when I looked earlier today. It's closer to the critics list than I would have expected.
Yeah, I think Parasite's number 1 also on that list too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Mulholland Drive is also number 2.
Oh, I didn't realize. Oh, that's interesting.
It's interesting. I wonder if that's the Nielsen fallacy. That's not a real thing, but where you report something that's a little more high-minded than what you actually like.
Yeah.
Where, people who they're doing research for TV and the Nielsen poll or whatever it is,
and
say they're watching a lot of Ken Burns documentaries, but they're really watching The Bachelor. That kind of thing.
And also, I guess
possible.
the New York Times just knows its readership.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think you were about to ask about my ballot, but I think
sure was.
I sure was.
I think maybe let's briefly put a pin in that so we can scoop to. I do want to hear what what you least want to see, Cameron, that you haven't seen yet.
Oh, what I least want. Oh, I don't want to ever see Melancholia.
Oh yes. Okay, great.
I will see it. If I'm going to be a completist about this list, I will see it. But
are you going to be?
I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, 15. That's not too hard.
It's
You're really
not too
close.
hard, and most of them I am interested in. So yeah.
And personally, the one I want to least, that concept is Interstellar, because it seems to me like I've seen more than enough Christopher Nolan. I've seen so much of his filmography just by existing in the world. And this one seems to me like it's so much up its own ass, out of a filmmaker who that is kind of exclusively what he does. And again, all of these movies on this list are mostly pretty good. I'm sure Interstellar's pretty good, but I will watch it last out of the ones I have not seen.
Yeah. I think Christopher Nolan has the most with 5 of any director on this list.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot. I was very surprised that Interstellar made it over Dunkirk. And I feel like it's because Interstellar is a bit of a tearjerker, and while Dunkirk is certainly about a sad thing, it's I wouldn't call it. It's not sappy at all, and Interstellar really is Christopher Nolan's sappy side, I think.
Yeah, there is
and
that.
Dunkirk is.
I would also venture it's because Interstellar is really good.
Okay.
Sure.
I really like Interstellar.
Yeah, no. See, I haven't even seen it. Can't judge. But I'm suspicious of Christopher Nolan, and I most recently saw The Prestige and was not wowed by The Prestige.
Interesting. I love that movie. Okay.
Like I get it, and I get where it fit in the 2000s, but coming to it so much later, and I did know what the thing was about it, so
okay.
I didn't have the full experience. But I was mainly just like, what is Scarlett Johansson doing with her voice?
I think the way to watch The Prestige is to watch it within a month of the other magician movie that came out that year, The Illusionist, and then you'll really like The Prestige.
Okay, I do. I mean, The Illusionist is on the list of what I will probably be seeing in the next couple months, so I will do it in reverse.
Yeah, let me know what you think.
Okay, I will. But yeah, like real quick, I will share my ballot. I'll just list it. How about, because I know I did a ballot. Andrew, you did a ballot too, right?
I did, yes.
Okay, and Cameron, you have maybe prepared something for us but didn't submit one?
Yeah, I did not submit one. I mean, I kind of already alluded to a few that would be in my top 10, but go for yours.
Okay, no worries. I just think when we do this, we should read out all the titles in a row, and then the reactions can happen.
Okay.
I think is the way this needs to go. But my ballot, it's roughly in order, but I wouldn't necessarily commit to this order. And I did limit it to like one per director and blah, blah, blah. Like, there are movies that I really like that aren't here. You just have to do it. But yeah, the Spanish horror movie Wreck, Mad Max Fury Road, Autumn de Wilde's Emma, the one with Anya Taylor-Joy, Hedwig and the Angry Inch, High School Musical, Battle Royale, Tigers Are Not Afraid, The Descent, the Neil Marshall cave movie, Shin Godzilla, and The Emperor's New Groove. That was the list I submitted to the New York Times.
That is very respectable, sir.
Thank you.
I love the inclusion of The Emperor's New Groove. Yeah. That's amazing.
It is. I mean, on any given day, I will go between that or Lilo and Stitch being my favorite Disney movie. But it is such a vibrant kind of postmodern, weird, kooky movie. I just it compels me so much. I love that movie.
No, that deserves to be on there. I also wanted to flag that you put both Wreck and The Descent in there, and that's something that stuck out to me about the official list. Not a lot of good horror representation.
No. Yeah. You know what made me really happy on the whole list was Let the Right One In.
That was a big surprise.
Yeah,
that was surprising to me. Yeah, I was thinking there's really only Get Out and Let the Right One In, and maybe Black Swan if you squint. I was thinking if we were gonna have a representative pick for the horror genre for the 21st century, what would that be? And the first place my mind went was the Babadook.
Yeah. That's one that wasn't on my list, but it that feels like that perfect, very, very good, but kind of consensus-y. It should have been on here.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I haven't seen it because I'm a fraidy cat.
But
yeah.
Also, Wreck is awesome.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, that is just my favorite movie, flat out. It is. That is just a sledgehammer to the nerve endings. That movie is. But yeah, you as a teacher, I think, would be very disturbed by the Babadook because it is about the horror of how irritating children can be.
Yeah, I mean, there are multiple reasons I haven't seen it, but yes, I do know that it is about children. I'm not one of those people who can't handle movies where bad things happen to children, but they do disturb me to an extreme extent. So
Yeah, and that's why I'm not even saying like that's the reason, but it's just like if you already have to deal with children all the time, this one is specifically using like tantrums as a way to ratchet up the tension, and it works really well.
Yeah. Like, if you've ever seen that meme, "Why can't you be normal?"
No,
That's where
I don't
that's
think
from.
so. Okay.
What a good movie. Anyway, Andrew, what's your list? I'm dying to hear.
Okay, so similar to you, Brennan, I had it roughly in order, but don't hold me to it. Mulholland Drive, Mad Max: Fury Road, The Lord of the Rings: The Fellowship of the Ring, Mandy, Arrival, Your Name, 12 Years a Slave, The Raid, The Lighthouse, and Beau is Afraid.
Wow.
Oh.
Beau is Afraid. I think you're the first person that
See-
likes Beau is Afraid that much. Tell me more.
I checked the readers ranking. So to be clear, like they only like have them spelled out down to number 100, but they actually have listings down to 500, and I was gratified to find it is on there. It's somewhere in the 400 range. But yeah, like I'm way outside the Overton window on Beau is Afraid. I kind of think it might be my favorite movie of the last few years. I think it really evokes that sort of sense of anxiety and personal failure in a really poignant and evocative and really stylish way that I've never really seen done anywhere else. And I think it's certainly Ari Aster's masterpiece, more so than Hereditary, definitely. But yeah, like that's a film that I can see myself coming back to for years to come.
Okay, I've not seen Beau is Afraid,
Yeah,
but
me either.
I have been very curious about it, and this is definitely selling me because I was curious about that aesthetic component of it. It was so long. I didn't catch it in theaters and just haven't had a chance to catch up with it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Like it's like the way I think of it is like it's almost like the anti-Odyssey, like this sort of hero's journey through like all these sort of different absurd circumstances, but this is sort of turning into me like waxing rhapsodic about Beau is Afraid.
It's okay.
But yeah, I think I thought it was like something no other filmmaker could have done, and like I'm really grateful that A24 took a punt on it.
Okay.
Cool.
Excellent. No, so that great choice. Also, I would like to put a big giant yes stamp on of the 3 Lord of the Rings movies. You picking
Yes.
Fellowship of the Ring? Yes,
Yeah,
love
well,
that
and-
choice.
And this whole list picked Fellowship of the Ring, which I appreciate.
Well,
Right? I mean, it's not the Lord of the Rings, the whole trilogy. It's specifically Fellowship.
to me, I'm using Fellowship of the Ring as synecdoche for the whole trilogy.
Okay.
But
I think a lot
that
of people
is-
probably
yeah,
were.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. It is the one that when I want to watch a Lord of the Rings movie, I watch that one because it's kind of the more feel good of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, I have
yes.
10 that I can give you, but I have not ranked them in particular order. I do agree, as I said earlier, that Mulholland Drive should have been first. And I think I would put No Country for Old Men second. I have There Will Be Blood, Moulin Rouge, which it's infuriating to me that that's not on here. The Dark Knight, Spirited Away, Kill Bill, and that's another one where do you put both or do you just put one? Amélie, Shaun of the Dead. Is that 10? I also had Mad Max Fury Road and The New World, the Terrence Malick New World.
Oh, nice.
The only Terrence Malick on this list is Tree of Life, and while I liked Tree of Life, I just was like bowled over by The New World when I saw that in 2006 I think it was. So yeah, very similar to to the top 10 maybe, but like you said, the top 10 didn't get it wrong. It's interesting the way they did it.
Yeah, and from what I'm hearing, I feel like I mean, I might be wrong just in terms of the numbers, but I think your list has the most overlap with this 100. Like, you've gotten a lot of your favorites on here, except, again, Shaun of the Dead, glaring oversight. It's kind of weird that Mad Max Fury Road is not in the top 10. It is number 11.
Yes.
But that does feel like a movie that is such a 4-quadrant. Like, it appeals to the film people. It appeals to the, like, populist people. Like, it's hard to find someone who doesn't like it.
So I think when you look at the methodology for how these movies were picked, like, all the artists and the directors and the actors were asked to sort of rank their top 10. And I think this is sort of one of these cases where it's like consistently number 2 or number 3 on the ballot.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it was number 2 on both yours and my ballot.
I think another one that kind of falls in that category is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, which, was such a long time ago that maybe people have forgotten about it a little bit, but I feel like it had the same sort of mass appeal that obviously not as visceral as Mad Max Fury Road, but there was not a single person in the year 2000, I think, that didn't see Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. It's like, it's romantic, it's action, it's gorgeous, it's epic, it's a great movie. Yeah. I'm happy to see it on here.
As am I. Yeah, Crouching Tiger, because like I love martial arts movies, and like having that sort of representation on the list is great to see. And Crouching Tiger rocks. Like it's a really legit example of the form. I guess, like, for my part, my objection to Crouching Tiger is simply that it takes up too much oxygen in the sort of conversation about the genre. Like it tends to like beat out other like worthy. Certainly, when English speakers talk about martial arts movies, they're talking about it instead of Hero. They're talking about it instead of A Touch of Zen. They're talking about it instead of Drunken Master 2. And I guess
it's the movie that like brought that genre to a lot more people who hadn't been exposed to it. So
exactly.
And
I feel
boulder.
like
I get that.
Yeah, and it's sort of like where their engagement with that genre sort of begins and ends. And I've always like it's not the movie's fault because it's a great film, but I've always kind of like low level resented that about it.
Yeah,
okay. I kind of feel that way about Slumdog Millionaire with Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a good parallel actually. I know what you mean with Crouching Tiger, whereas Hero was potentially a more interesting film and maybe had better action sequences. It's been a long time since I've seen Hero.
I think so. I would probably put Hero over Crouching Tiger slightly.
Okay. But I haven't seen a ton of that genre, so I don't really know as much as you do. But I understand your point for sure.
Yeah, but speaking of Ong Lee, like he's a director who's very represented on this list, and I think well deserved. Like I think a lot of the directors, especially the ones who have multiple titles in the top 20, they're ones I'm not mad about, and I was kind of expecting to be mad about it. Like honestly, no Christopher Nolan in the top 20 shocked me, and
that
I was
shocked
a little happy
me too
because it made me feel like But you got 2 Ong Lee, 2 David Fincher, and 2 Cuarón in the top 20.
Yeah,
that feels like a much more exciting group of directors than what I was thinking would come out of this.
Yeah, certainly a more like they have more of a point of view, I think, than the big. I mean, Christopher Nolan like has big blockbuster movies, and he absolutely has a point of view as a director, but it's sort of become a bit more catered to the masses over time.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
With that in mind, Cameron, like you were saying about the sort of the Nielsen fallacy earlier, like I was thinking about this back on it when I was putting together my my ballot, and I knew it would be seen by my friends. And like, if I'm being completely like brutally honest about myself, The Dark Knight's probably in my top 10. Really, I don't know what it would replace, but it is in there.
Yeah, it's in mine. I mean, that movie made a big splash in my life with
100%.
IMAX
Same.
and everything. Yeah.
No, and that is just a great movie. It is just kind of incontestable.
I saw that movie. I mean, it came out the year I graduated from cinematography school. I saw it with a row of cinematography students, and when that first IMAX image of him standing on the top of the building comes on, like everybody just gasped. Like it's one of my favorite memories from grad school. It's everybody going like, because it was so beautiful. Just yeah.
Yeah, and that's certainly the Nolan that I would put up top. And I don't mean to imply that I hate Christopher Nolan. I've seen almost all of his movies, and I've liked most of them. But he just, to me and to a lot of people, represents the more toxic side of film culture, not because of anything that he is necessarily doing, but of how people have responded to his works, you know? But anyway, speaking of directors, first of all, as an Almodovar fanboy, I'm annoyed there aren't more of his titles on here. But
it's just the one, right?
It's just
the
one.
Volver?
Right? It's Volver.
Yeah.
But that's the one. Like I would have been annoyed if Talk to Her took higher, like was higher than Volver. So I was very happy about that. And I'm also vindictively very happy we have no Alejandro González Iñárritu on this list at all. I think he's one of the most overrated modern directors, from my perspective, at least.
Interesting. Okay. I love how you pit them together because I think of them in the same, like, thought process too, for some reason. And
Almodovar and Iñárritu?
Yeah, Iñárritu, yeah. I don't know why. It's like they were kind of making movies and coming up at the same time, and yeah.
That's interesting. I think of Iñárritu and Cuarón more in concert with each other because they both work a lot with Emmanuel Lubezki. They're both sort of really known for their sort of long takes and their sort of like boundary pushing, sort of formal like blockbuster films. So yeah, Cuarón's sort of the guy that I pair with Iñárritu.
I agree, but I feel like they're a little more similar to each other than, I mean, and they're also, I believe, both Mexican, correct?
Yeah, they're both Mexican, yeah.
Yeah, and then Almodovar,
He's from Spain.
Yeah, is Spanish. So, I don't know what maybe it's just I lump Spanish language films together in my mind, but I kind of compare them in contrast to each other as opposed to working in concert rather than contrast.
No worries. I mean, I think certainly of the kind of 2000s Mexican filmmaking boom that happened with like Y tu mamá también and Guillermo del Toro making Pan's Labyrinth, which is also on the list. Like, I do feel like them being represented over Iñárritu, I think I was very happy about that because it's just like Birdman, no thank you. I don't have time for that movie. But anyway, Cameron, when we were discussing this topic, you seemed to have a bee in your bonnet about directors, or at least you mentioned that maybe there were some snubs. Is there someone that we haven't talked about yet?
Well, we mentioned Edgar Wright, and then I briefly mentioned Moulin Rouge. I think that Moulin Rouge is probably the only Baz Luhrmann movie I would put on here, but I do think it belongs on here. And then I hate to say this because I know a lot of people really love him. It made me happy, similar to your Iñárritu bent. It made me happy there was no Alexander Payne on here because I think he's kind of full of himself and he just keeps making the same movie about men who are tools. But that's my opinion, and I understand that it's probably quite a few people would have Alexander Payne in their top 10, particularly Sideways and maybe The Holdovers, maybe The Descendants. But I don't really enjoy him.
I think The Holdovers was like, it was in the high hundreds on the readers' picks.
Okay.
So like it wasn't far off.
What about Sideways? Was that, I didn't look at the readers' picks list.
I didn't check Sideways. I was just sort of doing Control F for a few films that came to mind.
Yeah, because Sideways, I think, is his Crouching Tiger, for lack of a better way to put it.
Oh my God, it is.
It's the entree to Alexander Payne that most people had.
I liked Sideways well enough, mostly because I like Paul Giamatti yelling.
No, I like it the most of his movies, definitely. Yeah,
I'm inclined to agree.
Yeah.
I like that he gave Matthew Lillard a nice big scene in The Descendants, but that's about the extent of my Alexander Payne joy.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just kind of a sourpuss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he do Aloha with Bradley Cooper? That disaster. Let me double check.
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
His Hawaii movie is The Descendants.
Oh, that's Cameron Crowe. Yes, I mixed them up for no reason.
I was also mixing them up for no reason. I'm not even sure
That's
why.
so funny. Yeah.
I think there's the E at the end of their last name. There's something about it.
Must be. I don't know.
Are there any directors you wanted to point at, Andrew?
Yes, I had one specific omission that I think is... Honestly, if there's one thing I think about this list is kind of inexcusable, it's that there's no representation for Satoshi Kon. He directed Millennium Actress. He directed Tokyo Godfathers. He directed Paprika. One of the great anime directors of all time. No representation on the list, either of the readers' list or the critics' list. Like, Millennium Actress should be in the sort of top 25, in my view. That's like, he really got snubbed, I feel, in my view.
Huh.
Also, not necessarily a director as such. I find it interesting that there's not really much representation on this list for Indian cinema. Or any, actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah, I don't think any. You're right.
Which
I
is,
would have thought RRR would have snuck in.
That was the one I was going to name. Yeah, RRR should, like, for the sort of, like, crowd-pleasing, sort of four-quadrant quality of this list. RRR, like, it feels like of a piece with the rest of it.
I need to see that. I haven't seen it.
It's really cool. It's a good
Yeah,
time.
It's great.
Yeah.
I remember when it came out thinking I needed to see it, and then it just didn't happen.
Yeah, it's another one that's like, it's really long, so you do have to just sit down with it. I did watch it in 2 parts. Sometimes you just gotta. But yeah, no, I don't know. In Bollywood and Indian cinema as a whole, I feel like up until very recently, and maybe even not so much recently, I mean, basically only RRR kind of really made a splash.
Yeah.
But like, it tends to be very isolated to India and then kind of the Indian diaspora, and not so much like, there's not a lot of Indian filmmaking that's coming to Europe, that's playing at Cannes. Early stuff that's not like, if they make an intense drama that doesn't have any music in it, that'll play at Cannes.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I've said this anecdote on pod before, but when I went to see Kalki 2898 AD, the huge Telugu language action epic from a couple of years ago, I saw it at an 8 o'clock screening in Inverness, and I was the only white guy in the theater.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, like, it sort of speaks to just how... And it was like a specialist distributor as well. It wasn't... It was almost like a sort of private company had hired out the theater for the evening, because there weren't any trailers playing out in front.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, like, there is presence in Western Anglophone theaters, but it's very siloed. It's very
Yeah.
Sectioned off from the sort of mainstream, which I find fascinating because that's not necessarily the way we treat Korean movies or Japanese movies
No.
or French movies. And I don't know, there's something about Indian cinema that just sort of like keeps itself contained to that diaspora. And I don't know, somebody should write a paper about it.
Yeah. No, I wish it connected more, because especially I really love the musicals, or just the way that music even is incorporated into a lot of not quite musical movies from India. But I think that maybe certainly a lot of Americans are suspicious of musicals for some reason that I cannot make sense of. So it's just not a sensibility that is necessarily built in, and I wish it was. It certainly seemed to be in the 50s. I don't know how we lost it. But anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm with you on musicals. They're more fun than people give them credit for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we've been talking for quite a while. Are there any last things you really want to throw out before we close the book before we close our newspaper and recycle it?
I thought it was very interesting that there's only one Steven Spielberg movie on this list, and it's Minority Report, which, sure, good choice. I would have maybe gone with Catch Me If You Can, but that's me.
Fascinating.
Yeah, but now I'm looking right now at his 21st century filmography. The other one that, I mean, Munich, Lincoln maybe could have gotten in there, but like beyond that, I don't really like. Yeah, his best stuff is in the 20th century for sure. So that was interesting to me.
Yeah,
I think.
Go ahead, Brian.
Well, I just think his 20th century stuff casts such a shadow on the other stuff. Like War of the Worlds is a great movie, but it just doesn't feel right for this list. And if you're comparing it to Jurassic Park or Indiana Jones, you're like, well, those are the genre movies of Spielberg that are the ones, the essential ones, or Jaws or whatever.
Yeah, Spielberg's really curious in that he, like, to a greater extent than I think, like Ridley Scott or Martin Scorsese or his sort of contemporaries, feels like his career's sort of in its afterlife, like he's sort of gently gliding down from the peaks that he reached in the 80s and 90s. Whereas those, like, James Cameron's still taking risks. Scorsese's still like pushing the boat out. Spielberg just sort of seems like he's like in this sort of comfortable, like B+ era of his career, which is a perfectly
He's gotten
fine place to be.
sappier.
Yeah, for sure. The Fabelmans, I like the Fabelmans a lot, but yeah, it's 100% like him, like posting, right?
Oh,
yes, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. He's just doing a victory lap.
Yeah. Also, something interesting to note: one Marvel movie, which feels like a win for.
It does feel like a win.
Yeah. Which is Black Panther, which I can't really fault. Like Black Panther, it's not my favorite MCU film, but like I totally respect that as the representative.
Yeah, and it's the one that highbrow people are allowed to like.
Yeah, that's
that's actually accurate. Yeah. Cool.
How about you, Cameron? Do you have any kind of final thoughts you want to throw out? It's a big list. There's a lot of data to crunch.
I know. I think I have many thoughts that we haven't gone over, but just a couple to call out that I was happy to see on here. Grizzly Man, that made me happy. And I already said Let the Right One In. I was surprised that Carol on multiple lists, like I also looked at the Rolling Stone best list of the 21st century, Carol was on there and way higher. I just, didn't realize that people like that movie so much. And yeah, I agree. Todd Haynes.
I feel like as like lesbian romances go, Carol has been entirely supplanted in its reputation by Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Oh, 100%.
Sure.
Yes. And I mean, of the Todd Haynes movies in the 21st century, I would have picked Far From Heaven, but that's, again, I don't get to decide.
If only.
Yeah.
For me, I would also say a director that I think is totally missing here is Danny Boyle. I think
interesting. Yeah.
He has ups and downs, but I mean, I would put 28 Days Later on, but I also thought Slumdog Millionaire people would have. That made such a big impression in 2008 or whatever.
Yes. Or Sunshine.
Yeah, exactly.
Sunshine would have been my pick. I was just about to say that. Thank you, Cameron.
Yeah. But good call, Danny Boyle.
Yeah, thank you. But yeah, I would have liked a little bit of respect on the number one bad movie of all time, The Room. That was obviously not going to end up here, but The Room is such a top to bottom delight that every minute is worth watching, and that is so rare. Like, that is not something you can say of every movie on this list. And I think that irony should be completely obliterated. Like, The Room is a great movie and should be on this list.
And everyone should see it.
Absolutely.
Like 100% everybody should see it.
100%.
Right?
But yeah. I think that would require a sensibility that the New York Times is not willing to extend itself to.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. When I clicked to open the list, I was not like, "Where's the Room ranking here?" I have realistic expectations, but I think people need to open their hearts a little bit.
Definitely.
What did you guys? So one that really surprised me that we haven't touched on at all, and I know we're going over time, so I'll keep it short. But Borat being on here,
oh yeah, again,
that surprised me quite a bit.
It's all the movies that. It's all the movies that everyone was quoting in my junior high class are on this list.
Yeah,
exactly.
No, of the comedies on here, honestly, I find Borat the most defensible. I think Borat was a really sort of interesting, singular sort of experiment when it came out.
It is certainly the most interesting of the comedies.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. And Brennan, it's interesting the way you said they're all from your junior high class, with the exception of Bridesmaids. They're all in this like 2004 through 2007 time period.
Yeah.
So like really something about comedy at that point is,
I guess,
I have nothing further to say, but their comedy was comedying.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting fewer and fewer comedies these days, but they're much better ones. But also kind of a pleasant surprise, Barbie's not on this list.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, great.
But I think the glow has finally faded, and people 2 years after the fact aren't thinking about it in a way that they maybe would have been 10 years after the fact or 1 year after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
It's all a matter of timing. But yeah, we should. Yeah, what?
I have one more director snub. There's no Spike Lee on here, which is kind of lame. Like 25th Hour should be on here, I think, but I don't know where exactly.
Yeah, and I'm sure there are a bunch of directors who have been snubbed that we just simply have not been able to fathom because of just staring at all of the data. It's hard to even process.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's gonna do it. Let's real quick do the roundup. Andrew, where can people find you or things you want to point them to online?
Okay, so for this instance, I'm just gonna quickly plug my Letterboxd account because I'm just closing in on 200 followers. Finally, it only took 6 years.
Nice.
But if you want to find me, you can find me at Andrew Milne on Letterboxd. It's just a search function. You can figure it out. Where I am intermittently posting either 2-line shit posts or 10,000 word essays. It's a lucky dip. It'll be one or the other.
Hell yeah! How about you, Cameron?
Just as always, you can find me on my other podcast, which is a very niche millennial podcast about the Babysitters Club. It's called Stony Brook Reunion, the Babysitters Club Book Club. We just hit our 5,000th download.
Hell yeah!
Which we've been on for like 13 months. I was kind of proud of that, and no advertising or anything. So go us.
No, that's exquisite. That is it is hard to find an audience for a podcast, and that's incredible.
I've been listening to it for the last few months.
Have you really?
I have actually. Like I need to catch up. I've been listening to like the first 15, 20 episodes, I think. So I've got some catching up to do.
God.
But I am a listener.
Well, thank you for that. It's so nice to have a male listener. We have a few male listeners, I shouldn't say. There's just one. But it's great to hear.
It is very insightful into the experience of a teenage girl 90s kid.
Good. Well, what else can I ask for?
Absolutely.
It's good. Thanks.
That's the main thing.
Yeah, so take a look at that, and you can also find me on social media at It's Raining Brands. I'm on Letterboxd too. That's the most fun place to follow me. Everywhere else is hell. But yeah, so do that. You can also find more episodes of this show and others at alternateending.com, along with reviews and a bunch of other stuff. Next week on the show, you're going to be hearing me again with Tim. It's going to be Bride of Alternate Ending. We're going to be kicking off a quarter talking about pre-Scream 1990s slashers. So we are wading through the muck.
That's exciting.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited. We are starting with Brian Yesna's The Dentist. So keep your ears tuned for that one. And until next time, bye.